We all kind of take it for granted, right? Clean water, just turn on the tap. There it is. But behind the scenes, there's a whole world of engineering going on to make that happen.
That's true.
And that's what we're diving into today, the world of water engineers.
Absolutely.
Not just what the job title says, but like what these folks actually do and how tech is shaking things up. Plus, because finding a job these days is a whole other beast, we'll touch on how platforms like RoleCatcher can give you a leg up.
Yeah, it's way more than just water, that's for sure. I mean, it's public health, it's safety from floods, it's even like designing how our cities work.
So it's not just about making sure I've got enough water for my morning coffee.
No, though I get your point. We're talking big picture stuff, flood barriers, these massive systems, working with like architects who are planning whole cities. They have to factor in how water's going to work with all that.
Wow. Okay, so big responsibilities. One thing that jumped out at me from RoleCatcher, it seems like technology is a huge part of this field now. What kind of tech are we talking about?
Oh, it's always changing, which keeps things exciting.
Yeah.
But right now, you've got sensors that can tell us instantly if water's contaminated, like real-time monitoring. Then there's software, incredibly complex stuff. It can model how water's going to flow, helps predict floods, even prevent them sometimes.
Starting to sound like a sci-fi movie over here.
Right. And then there's drones, which is wild. They're used to survey from the air, water resources, get way more detailed info than we used to, way cheaper too.
So this isn't your grandpa's engineering field, huh?
Nope. Water engineers are using cutting-edge stuff, solving these huge problems, really making a difference. It's a field that's always changing.
Okay, color me impressed. This field is way more than I thought. But let's say someone's listening. They're like, all right, sign me up. How do I actually become a water engineer? Where do you even begin?
Well, you got to start with the basics, right? Like any engineering field, you need a solid science and math foundation. Calculus, physics, that kind of stuff. But here's something that surprised me when I was looking at RoleCatcher's guide. Geography. It's way more important than you might think.
Geography. Really? I gotta admit, that wasn't the first thing that came to mind.
Yeah, but it makes sense when you think about it. We're talking about watersheds, how water flows across the land, drainage patterns. Water engineers need to understand that big picture, not just like look at a map, you know?
So when they're designing something like, I don't know, a dam, it's not just about the structure itself, but how it fits into the whole environment.
Exactly. Take a project like designing a reservoir, right? To prevent flooding downstream. You got to understand the local geography like really well. The flow rates of the rivers, rainfall patterns, all that stuff is crucial. That's where geography comes in.
Okay, yeah, that's a great example. Makes you realize it's this whole blend of like hard science, but also this ecological awareness, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And even then, we haven't even touched on the people skills yet, because these are huge projects, often tons of different people involved. RoleCatcher actually mentioned that 66% of water engineers need strong reading comprehension skills. Did you see that?
66%. No way, seriously. I wouldn't have guessed it was that high.
Yeah, it's because communication is key EY. Think about it. You're reading technical reports, analyzing data, then you got to write proposals, present your findings, and a lot of the time you're explaining this stuff to people who aren't scientists themselves.
So it's not just about being a math whiz, you got to be a good communicator too.
Totally. Imagine a water engineer who's got all the brilliant ideas, but they can't explain them clearly. It's like a ship without a rudder, you know?
That's a good analogy. And speaking of challenges, the work itself, I get the feeling it's pretty demanding. I think RoleCatcher mentioned something about long hours, right?
Yeah, for sure. Dedication is a big part of it. Water emergencies, they don't exactly stick to a 9-to-5 schedule, do they?
So, okay, we've talked about the challenges, the skills you need for this, but how do you actually land a job as a water engineer? Because it feels like, I don't know about you, but the whole job market, it just gets more intense every year.
Oh, for sure. It's definitely not getting any easier. It used to be you could just have a great resume, right? Now it's like you're competing with everyone, everywhere. And on top of that, you've got these, what do they call it? Applicant tracking systems.
Oh yeah, ATS, I've heard of those, but honestly, I'm a little fuzzy on what they actually do. It's like some kind of digital bouncer at the door of every company.
Pretty much. Basically, it's software, right?
Right.
And companies use it to manage like the mountain of job applications they get. Problem is, the ATS scans your resume looking for keywords, certain skills. If you don't match up, a human might never even see your application.
Yeah, that's kind of scary, right? It makes all those generic resumes, the ones everyone's told to make, they're useless.
Exactly. You got to be specific, and that's where I think RoleCatcher comes in. Their whole AI thing, it's actually designed to help you get past these bots, so your resume gets to an actual person.
Okay, now you got my attention. Tell me more about this. How does that even work?
It's kind of wild, actually. You upload your resume, right? And their AI goes to town, analyzes it, compares it to, like, tons of other resumes and job descriptions, and it tells you, hey, you're missing this, or this part could be stronger, like having a peek behind the curtain.
So no more guessing. You're using the right jargon, the right skills. It takes out the mystery, huh?
Yeah, and get this, it's not just about the resume itself. RoleCatcher also digs into specific job descriptions. So you get what employers actually want, not just what you think they want. They've even got, are you ready for this? A database of over 120,000 interview questions.
120,000. That's like more questions than I've asked in my entire life.
Right. But the point is, it's about practice, right?
Yeah.
Getting comfortable talking about your skills, your experience, not just memorizing, but like actually understanding what they're getting at.
So you're not walking into an interview blind. You're prepped, ready for whatever they throw at you.
Exactly. Confidence is key. And RoleCatcher, from what I've seen, it gives you the tools, A&D, the confidence to really nail this whole job hunt thing, especially in water engineering.
Now, zooming out for a sec, big picture stuff. What's the future even look like for water engineers? Is this like a career with staying power?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, I'd say it's one of the most future-proofed careers there. Think about it. Climate change, the population keeps growing, more and more people living in cities. All that puts stress on our water.
Right, makes sense. More people, more demand, more problems to solve. Job security shouldn't be a problem, huh?
Exactly. And it's not just about the job security, it's the impact. You're not just crunching numbers, you're helping solve some of the biggest challenges we face as a planet.
So what I'm hearing is water engineering, it's way more than just water. It's high-tech, it's dynamic, it's on the front lines of like global issues. You need the brains, the communication skills, and honestly, a bit of passion for making a difference. And while, yeah, finding a job's never easy, tools like RoleCatcher are changing the game, giving you an edge. So if you're up for a challenge, something that's seriously rewarding, this could be it.
Couldn't said it better myself.
And there you have it, folks. Another deep dive in the books. Remember, the future belongs to those who, those who dive deeper, really. Until next time, happy learning, everyone.